Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts, see what the story is and what it may be. And remember, if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, so we're going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to go over Luna, of course, and we'll go over Solana, Avalanche, XRP, and Ethereum. If I go over anything else, I'll see if I have time for any other coins after that, okay? So starting with Bitcoin, because we actually went long Bitcoin last night, and it seems like so far it's been the correct decision based off the rebound we are experiencing. And we actually closed out our Luna short last night as well in profit. So it seems our decision making was on point as of now. We will continue to observe. So going with Bitcoin, starting with the Bitcoin long, starting with the Bitcoin position. So we went long pretty much at the bottom of yesterday's candle, just about. And now we are in a really nice position as we experience this small rebound in Bitcoin. In my opinion, the attempt to get back to 40K and maybe even 41,000, we'll have to wait and see how it interacts with this ascending green line. As we can see, it's come back into it here on the 25th, was denied yesterday, and now from that pretty strong denial, we're having a little rebound, and we might just be building out a bearish consolidation pattern, a bearish structure on the small term, something like this, which could mean we are seeing a bear flag possibly forming. Again, it's very, very early. We can't assume that's what's happening right now. There's no evidence. It's just conjecture. It's just what may be, okay? So we could be seeing this, in the attempt to break under this level here, which is the bottom of the wedge structure and the overall bearish flag structure. And again, I do not know why it keeps going back to the black line when I change it to orange. So let's do that again so it's very clear to which line I'm talking about. So there we go. So if this is a bearish consolidation that's beginning to form, again, we don't know, then this will be the attempt to get the fuel to break under this orange line. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but so far going long was the right decision. And in my opinion, we probably will see a bearish consolidation, but I do think it'll be a little bit more vertical going towards the green line again. I think if we're going to have any reversal, it'll be towards this green line, another denial very similar to this, and then we'll have a move lower. Okay, again, I could be wrong. I went long a little prematurely, or preemptively I should say, from the orange line, because I was comfortable with going long here and then watching to see if maybe Bitcoin was going to start a somewhat of a bullish consolidation in the short term and then add on at the orange line. So what do I mean by that? So let's say that we went long last night and now Bitcoin is still going down, right? So disregard this candle going up. Let's say Bitcoin's still sitting at like 38,000. Well, what I was seeing as we were coming down, we would likely go into a slowdown as we got closer towards this major support level, because this orange line is extremely powerful support. It's not to be ignored. It's very unlikely to just be blown right through. So if this is the structure that I was observing possibly happening, what may be, then I thought probabilities wise it's fine to go long here and then let this structure build out, which is what? A descending pattern, a downward wedge of some sort, which is bullish, and in this case it would be bullish in the short term. Then I could do an add-on right here, right? So from the bottom of this candle, we just add on again, bringing our average lower again, and then in my opinion we would likely see another bounce going towards the green line again, or if it's really weak, 39,500. Okay, so that's why I made the decision to go long last night. And in my decision to go long last night, I looked at Luna, which we were short for a couple of days. I was like, all right, we're up a good amount. I think it was about 7 to 8%, maybe even 9%. I was like, all right, might as well take the profit there, especially if I see a rebound coming in Bitcoin. Luna will have a positive interaction to that. So let's take our money now. We'll leave maybe 2 or 3% on the table. I can live with that. Okay, so we are long Bitcoin. If you are in the long with me, you have my thinking. Again, if we do end up breaking under, whoops, my VPN. If we do end up breaking under while we're long, we'll just go back to the plan of adding on at those key levels we've been talking about, right? So that 34,000 mark, maybe 35,000, depending on how fast it comes down. So somewhere around here, and then definitely 33 to 30,000, right? So like down towards this zone here. And even if that level should break, then all we have to do is add on towards 28 to 29,000, because these levels will have extreme support. There will be a lot of demand, okay? So they will eventually break if, you know, we follow the overall bearish structure to completion, all right? So these levels will break if we follow this overall bearish structure to completion. But in the, you know, short term of that move in the structure, you will see the bounces, and that's what we're going to play, okay? That's what we're going to play. So if you're following me, be prepared. We're going to be going in and out, and I can promise you this, based off my past performance, we will make more money than most. I can promise you that, all right? And the only way I can promise that is because all I'm going to do is proper risk management and high probability trades at very key levels, okay? So let's go on to Luna, because I want to discuss why I closed it short. I touched on it a bit already, and explain you know, what I see coming next for Luna overall. So take a look at this. All right, so we end up opening short around pretty much near the top of this candle here on the 21st. So it was a great entry. We really experienced no drawdown once we opened short. We were targeting this ascending trend line here, and then I also had another target towards the top of this box, or at least this, you know, this ascending trend line up here to add on. I figured, okay, since this was a bullish pattern forming, a pretty much a bull flag that looked like it was forming, I was pretty confident that, okay, we're likely going to see a rise higher, and this candle here on the 25th really made me feel like, all right, yeah, we're going to see a move higher, and my add-on levels are going to eventually get hit. So I was prepared for that, but then we had the massive sell-off yesterday, which brought us right back into the pattern. And this pattern can still play out, by the way, okay? It's unlikely now, though. This was somewhat immature. It wasn't fully fleshed out, this bull flag. So this stuff can happen when a pattern's not fully fleshed out. And now it's more likely to get towards the $85 mark, which was my original target for the short, which was about, I think it was about 12 to 13% of like an overall move from where we got in. But after, you know, after watching yesterday and then watching Bitcoin as it got closer to major support, I figured it's best to take the money off now when we were up, I want to say 8, 9, maybe even 10%. Leave that, you know, 2, 3% on the table. That's okay. And then roll over and get ready to start going long. Because after yesterday, what were you seeing if you were watching social media or any other commentator on this space? Everyone got very bearish, right? Everyone got extremely negative. They were very positive the day before that flush out yesterday. So this was a big hit to their emotional psyche. They were not, their sentiment was very wishy-washy. Everyone is very uneven. If you really start watching, they don't know what's happening, but they do feel like that all their hopes, all their wants aren't being respected, and that they wanted to go higher, but the market's just gonna go lower. And in that sort of environment, I believe they're right overall. That yeah, in the long term, the mid to long term, you are gonna see more downside, but in the short term, you can really start manipulating those sentiments, those emotions. So you're gonna see, I believe, another rise higher to get those people to again jump in and believe that this we've hit the bottom, or we're gonna have a major rally, and I think that's what's gonna happen again, because it's really cruel when you bring it down to the sentiment, but this is how the game works. For things to go lower, people have to be manipulated into despair. And I know that's really sad to, like, when you think about on an individual basis. It's not something you should take pleasure. I mean, I don't take pleasure on that, and I don't consider myself as a manipulator. I just consider myself as someone who can read it off the chart and then off of you know, news flows and stuff like that. But it's important to recognize within yourself, right? Because if you can recognize that within yourself, you can defend yourself against it. Defend yourself against the manipulators. Defend yourself against yourself that will get you into bad places. Okay, so we're gonna see continually these real wishy-washy moves to get people to fall into despair, because that's when you get people who give up, and that's how you'll have really big sell-offs, capitulation moments. So that's going to continue on, and then eventually you make the market as boring as possible while you accumulate for the next move higher. And then when you're ready to make that market go up, then you start manipulating the price action to look very bullish, and because it becomes very bullish. Okay, so I'll touch on that. I'll touch on market sentiment and market cycles as we experience them. As of right now, for like Luna per se, because remember, Luna's had this massive move. It's gonna be the time to bring in anger and anxiety. The reason why is because as Luna's gone up, right? Because look at Luna. Luna's really only gone up since the 21st of August, pretty much August, not 21st of August, but 2021 August, around the 20th of August. It hasn't really experienced much downside since on a macro structure. So people are kind of trained to buy the dip. They're trained to just hold it, like it's going to go higher, it's going to go higher, it's going to go higher. There's no risk. They have faith in it. Well, they have to start. The faith has to start getting broken. Okay, so that's why you're going to see these big moves up, and then what I would say a hard denial, and then a drag lower, a very slow drag lower, and then rinse and repeat that all the way down. And that really breaks down people's emotions in regards to this. So you'll see that, and then once we finally get to a base where we can start looking for long-term buys, you'll start getting very little news about it. You'll start hearing people not talk about it, and that's the prime time when you want to start accumulating it. Okay, and just keep following me. I will alert you when that happens, because that's my plan, to start looking for long-term accumulation on really high value projects in this space. Whether Luna's one of them or not, I don't know. Again, not financial advice. I'm just giving you an example using Luna's chart. As Luna, I would say, is really behind the curve compared to like Bitcoin in regards to cycle, because Luna has gone up even while Bitcoin was going down at a certain point. It was showing a lot of relative strength, making that new all-time high, as Bitcoin was kind of not doing anything. It was pretty much ranging for the most part, or just veering down a little. But now it's finally walking in tow with Bitcoin, and we'll see how it continues. But 85 short term, of course, that's where I see it going. If it breaks under that, then look for 77 to 75 bucks. And I do see this as being a major support level here. So I wouldn't expect it to flush through unless Bitcoin, of course, has a massive move lower. All right. Let's no trade on this now. No trade on this now. I'm not even interested to go long at $85 unless Bitcoin looks absolutely fabulous and Luna is underperforming. Then I would maybe take a stab long there. But right now, nothing. Let's take a look at Solana. Okay, so Solana, sitting on support pretty much at 98 bucks. Broke through, but what's my definition of a break? Okay, this is really important. When you break a level, whether it's a descending trend line or an ascending trend line if you're going down, a horizontal resistance or support, doesn't matter. The point is, if you have a daily candle that breaks under or above a level, the next daily candle needs to close above in a bullish case, or below in a bearish case, that daily candle. Okay, so this daily candle, if it closes under, what's the low of this candle? $94.66. Today this candle closes down here in this level here, then you can confirm, in my book, this is a breakdown from the 98 zone, and we're likely going to go lower towards this ascending trend line. As of right now, in my book, it's still just holding the zone, because always remember, trend lines are not perfect. They're zones overall. Okay, they're zones. So this to me is still within the zone, still holding the support, and we'll see if it can confirm a breakage. I will say you can say this is the start of a possible breakdown, but we're not there yet. So right now, I don't see much action on Solana. I don't see any entry right now. I like that it's holding the zone, but I don't have a structure. I don't have a structure to really open long on it as of now. And if I were to go long, I would rather target major support, something like this ascending trend line. This is far more attractive at about $85, $86. This is where I would like to start at least a long position. That way, even if it does break, look at I have the levels down here that I can add on to, and you're very likely from these levels to get rebounds, right, going back to this trend line. So I would much rather give this more time, and I would like for a pretty aggressive breakdown to this level, and that would make me very confident to take a stab there at about $85 is the ideal level for me. Okay, and to the upside again, it's I find it to be very unlikely to break past 107, 110. It just doesn't seem likely, but if it does, it'll get towards 116 to 120. I think for that to happen, Bitcoin has to have a pretty significant move higher. Solana would likely only come up towards 107, maybe 110. All right, let's take a look at Avalanche. Okay, so here's Avalanche. Yeah, this is pretty bearish. Okay, so this is pretty bearish. What have I said about Avalanche? Midterm bearish structure, for sure, right? And that this would not start breaking unless what? Bitcoin broke under under this line here and was going towards the orange line. And what is going on? Avalanche is just doing that, breaks under this massive trend line, which is the bear flag or rising wedge, however you want to describe this. This is the bottom of that structure, and now it's confirmed under it. It's at support. So what can we expect to see? So what I think you can expect to see, if Bitcoin has a nice rebound going forward, you can start seeing a short-term bullish consolidation at this zone, and then a breakout back towards $78 and maybe even the ascending trend line to test it as resistance and then eventually break down farther. And this will likely break under $50. This consolidation is the attempt to get to the field to break under $50, and then we'll have to wait and see where we go from there. But yeah, this is very bearish on Avalanche, but there will be bounce opportunities, so of course I'll keep my eye on it. But overall, the probabilities are very high that we will see a short-term bounce, but in the midterm we will see more downside, and in the end, very significant downside. We'll take a quick look at XRP. I don't think there's much update on XRP, but let's see. So yeah, XRP sold off. It's sitting in that zone I've been eyeing, with 65 cents to 62 cents. So again, nothing new here. If it comes up, my first target level to look at would be anywhere from 67 to 70 cents. If it starts getting denied there, then it's very likely you'll see a move down to 60 to 62 cents. If it starts breaking past there, then here's your level to look at, which is about 77 to 76 cents, right? So this is what I would say you could see happening one way or the other, and it's still likely to come back down until the whole regulatory issues with Ripple are resolved. I don't see any major move on the macro level. You might have some short-term swings here and there, but they're not really attractive to me. Okay, but I'll keep my eye on it, as I personally am interested in what's going on, and I know there's many people in the group that are also exposed to XRP. So let's take a quick look at Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum, so again, sitting on this support level, came right back to 2,800, but is finding nice support at that level. Again, I actually see this kind of ranging down towards this ascending trend line. This trend line will be tested relatively soon. I think it's far more likely for it to test now, as the coming days come, rather than it going significantly higher towards 3,000, just because the demand here is going to be, it has to be pretty high. I've been observing the order book on Ethereum for multiple exchanges, and there seems to be a lot of pressure towards 2,800 to 2,750. So that's in line with this trend line zone. So I would definitely look for a little bit of a lower move, and that might be a great place to start opening long on Ethereum, or at least giving it a serious thought. Again, I'll have to wait and see. I was tempted to maybe open long on it when I went long Bitcoin, but it wasn't at a level yet that I was comfortable with. If it was at this trend line, then I definitely would have opened, but it's just not there yet. Ethereum's just not really ready. Let's take a quick look at Doge, and then I'll take a look at I'm gonna take a look at SHIB because one of the viewers has been asking for me to take a look at SHIB, so I'll look at SHIB after this. So again, Doge, like I said, take your money when you get it, right? Take your money when you get it, or at least take a portion. Doge has been a great example of this multiple times, in short period of time, here and now here, and now after this denial on the box again, we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But I mean, this could start a bearish consolidation off of this denial candle, which would create like a flag, which would eventually bring us lower towards like the 13-cent mark and maybe even 12 cents. Or not. This is a pretty nasty sort of structure with this price action because of these two candles, well, 4 candles, the push up and then denial and then another push up and denial. The only thing I can tell you for sure is this zone here has very little demand for buyers, right? The buyers don't want to really buy here or higher as of now. So this makes me think that we are likely going to see more downside, at least back down to 13 cents and then maybe 12 cents. If that's held, which 12 cents has some good support, you might see another move higher and another attempt. But again, this is not really tradable right now. It's definitely something to observe. And a lot of time has now passed since this breakout, right? Since Doge has broken from this descending trend line. This could just be the start of a larger range that's forming where Doge just goes sideways for a while. Okay? And if that's the case, I will tell you, what did I mention in that last video yesterday? That when you have a small cap, in this case, let's just say Doge is a small index in crypto, right? It's a very small cap compared to the big cap, which is Bitcoin. If it's ranging and then Bitcoin goes into a trend, well, this small cap is very likely to break the range that's in the same direction the big cap, in this case Bitcoin, is going. So if Bitcoin starts going lower and this has been ranging, then the range will likely break down, and vice versa if it's going higher. So if it goes into that sort of structure where it's ranging, best bet is just to keep your eye on Bitcoin, because that will likely tell you the direction Doge will ultimately go. All right, let's take a look at SHIB. Here we are. Okay, so here's SHIB. So SHIB, SHIB is interesting in the sense that it's had what I would say, it's like a full cycle. It's like a very reminiscent of how 2017 going into 2018, 2019 was, right? So you had your massive rally, then your consolidation, and then your massive parabolic rally, and now you're going into distribution, which the idea is you bought down here, you accumulated down here, and everyone who did that is smartly distributing from here, and then it's slowing down. Then here is what we call the capitulation moment. Possibly, we don't know for sure, but possibly. In my opinion, it's not really too big of a capitulation candle. You kind of want it to be a little bit bigger, but I could see this being it, and that this was the low of the time. And then you have your rally, and now you're back in the accumulation here, right? So this is looking more like a whole accumulation sort of structure. So what that means is you can go sideways for a long time, okay? But what did I say about a Luna, and really in general in the beginning of this video? When things get boring is usually the best time to start accumulating. The only thing you have to keep in mind, however, is the big index, which is Bitcoin. So just like Doge, if Bitcoin starts coming down on a macro level, what's going to happen to SHIB? It's likely to come lower. Again, things can happen where that doesn't happen, okay? Some news could come out and change the entire spectrum of what Shiba Inu is, all right? If let's just say, for example, Jeff Bezos says, all right, I'm in Shiba, and Shiba is going to be the structure of Amazon. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if that did, what would happen is called a repricing moment. All right, and what that means is this asset is no longer this asset. It's become something else. So now it must be repriced to what it actually is fundamentally. All right, so if that happens, of course, Shiba would be a gigantic price. It'd be something else. But you can't trade off that. You can't bet off that. That's just foolish. So we have to go by what we see in the chart. We have to go by the probabilities we've experienced as we've continued to trade. And that if this goes into a range, while Bitcoin goes into a macro bear structure, like confirming it and actually going through the process of playing it completely out, then you're likely going to see this come lower. But that does not mean this is a bad accumulation area, because this structure is telling you that we are in accumulation. All right, there's going to be very little volatility, which is usually a sign of accumulation. This also could mean that we have not had the capitulation event, which would mean we come lower. All right, that's why if you're going to do a long-term investment in anything, you want to buy in these zones. You want to buy in this sort of structure. You want to buy, because this is what this is. This is what this is right here. Okay, so you want to buy in this. You don't want to buy this or even this. All right, you want to buy in this. You want to buy when it's very boring and you don't want to look at it anymore. All right, and that's why you need to do it in a very calm, patient way. Don't expose yourself too much. As they say, try and forget about it. And the only way I know how you can usually forget about it is that you don't put significant amounts of money in relative to what you're used to. All right, so if this does break down lower, even though you accumulate here, that's not a bad thing. That is a opportunity to add on lower and possibly, start accumulating even lower. Again, this is only if you believe in this project. All right, it is only if you actually believe in Shiba Inu in the long term. Looking at the chart, okay, just looking at the chart technicals, going beyond, not just saying like, here's how you accumulate and yada yada yada. So let's look at the chart technicals and see if there's anything that stands out, and if there's anything we can glean. So we're going to start drawing some trend lines and see how this goes, okay? And let me turn on the pivots. That way it'll be a little easier for people to follow exactly what I'm drawing from. And let's go off the monthly first, and then we'll drill down to the day, to the weekly and daily. Well, the monthly, again, not much information here, and this is off the FTX platform. Again, not much information. It's had a pretty large retrace from this monthly candle. It's about 830%. That's crazy. Let's see what the retracement's been. I want to say anywhere, it's probably 68% to 78%. Let's see, maybe, yeah. So 78.6%. So it's near the bottom of the retracement here. And this, this can probably come lower. I wouldn't be surprised if this comes lower. But it is in a very attractive place. If you were gonna buy this project, this is not the worst place. Not financial advice. It's just you want to buy something that's 78% down, not something that's up 78%. Right? Okay. So this is not a bad place. Let me get rid of that. Let's go on to the weekly, because hopefully there's more information there. Not much, but a little bit. Not really much. So let's draw the trend line from here to here. Obviously we broke this structure. Okay, and let's change the color to red. So off the weekly, again, very immature, very immature. So we don't really have much information on how this is gonna really look as this matures out. Again, we could end up having a rounding bottom like that, or we could be forming a squeeze that goes into a capitulation candle that goes lower, that goes to the top here at what is that, 50963, which is the top. That was pretty much the top of this whole accumulation zone here. So we could see that happening. Again, it's very immature. We don't know yet. So let's go on to the daily, see if there's anything else that we can glean. So daily, a little bit more information, but again, very similar to what I was saying before, just an accumulation. So you're in a box at this point. You're pretty much in a box, but you are losing levels. You are losing levels. You are losing levels, but now it seems like you're starting to really go sideways out. So here we go. So let's draw from here. So take a look at this. Okay, so yeah, so this was a level that was definitely lost so far. Again, we don't know yet, or at least it's in the process of being lost, I should say. But it's likely going to be, just off the context of this, you're going to just see this probably go sideways, and then you have SHIB just in this box right here. So this is, again, not much is going to happen with SHIB, because this is where you want to see. Should this go from here to here? Let's be a little bit, yeah, let's be a little bit more. Yeah, it's better because it catches this too. So you're seeing that, you know, in this box, SHIB is doing nothing other than ranging in because it's being accumulated right now. Okay, it's being accumulated right now. So if you want to go into SHIB, you know, the best bet would be within this box. The problem is you need to take into account it's very possible, because of what's happening with Bitcoin, that this breaks under this box and you have a capitulation moment that might bring you all the way down to here, to the top over here. Okay, like this could definitely happen. You don't want to ignore the possibility of coming back to the top of this level here. All right, and if that happens, you know, all I would say is, as long as you believe in this project, again, if you believe the fundamentals of this project is going to, you know, be useful and it's going to survive, that would be a great buying opportunity. If you don't think that Shiba Inu is going to be anything, then, you know, as it descends, you buying more will only make you more uncomfortable. All right, so keep that in mind. But, you know, we are in accumulation. I don't see any massive moves outside of Bitcoin, you know, coming in and pushing this one way or the other. But this is going to be a pretty large accumulation zone. Again, if you want an idea of what this is going to be, just look it down here. Okay, I can't promise you're going to have a big move like this after, but this is what that is. And then just go back to Bitcoin 2018, 2019. Let's take a quick look at that, and you'll get an idea of what I mean by you have just a large accumulation zone of nothing, right? So here we go. So 2019, 2018, and this was the capitulation moment down here. It's like this was nothing down here, of just going sideways. Best place to accumulate, of course. And then back in 2019, sideways action here, or this early 2020, and then 2019 over here. It's like beautiful times to accumulate because of just the sideways action. All right. Okay. So I think that's all I'm going to go over today. Yeah. All right, so you remember, you know, Bitcoin still in a midterm bearish structure, so we want to keep that in mind. But so far, our long is doing fabulous. No complaints here. And if you're in the trade with me or plan on being trades in the future, please make sure you're in the Discord, of course, and that you have the alerts set to on. And always ask me questions if you need to. All right, so everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.